Hey everybody, this is Izzy here coming to you with another review from my Sumter Film Library, if you will. You might notice that my DVD collection at the very top row looks a bit different because I decided to take all the seasons out of the show that I'm about to review at this precise moment. In 2010, this is when I was first more or less introduced to the show. I had heard about it and read quotes here and there, but at the same time I wasn't familiar with it. When I first watched the television film event, that's when I really got into the show. And funny story, I attempted to start the show, if you will, from season 7, thinking that I wasn't familiar with it, so I thought that I could just skip ahead and jump into the late seasons and know what's going on, and I was completely lost. Then that's when I decided to go ahead and start from season 1, and what initially kept me from fully engaging in the show, if you will, and this is going to become, you might laugh at this. The show is called 24 and stars Kiefer Sutherland and as Jack Bauer, a very iconic and synonymous figure in television and popular culture. The funny thing about this is when I first got into it, in my mind, when I saw that it was called 24, I literally thought that there was 24 discs in the DVD package, which made me go, what in the world, 24? How in the world am I going to finish 24 discs? Obviously, lo and behold, it wasn't 24 discs, and each episode was an hour long, and it was broken up into increments where it starts from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., and things of that nature. So 4 to 5 episodes a disc. How or why I thought that it would be 24 discs is beyond me. Anyways, season 1 is a very slow build. It introduces us to the characters of Jack Bauer, his daughter Kim, and his wife Terry, and you have Michelle Dessler and Tony Almeida, and other characters within the CTU counter-terrorist unit. And Jack Bauer's family is kidnapped by a mysterious terrorist organization, and they are held hostage, and they are attempted to force him to assassinate a presidential candidate. Starring Dennis Haysbert, who is playing David Palmer, the presidential hopeful. And it's very slow, very methodical, has a very dark, eerie espionage feel, but at the same time, it literally allows you to become more encompassed and follow the characterization of Jack Bauer. Very, very great season. Once it starts, it never lets up, and just a phenomenal start to an amazing franchise. And also a very tragic and bittersweet ending. Season 2 has Jack Bauer estranged from his daughter, retired from the CTU, and he is called on once again by the CTU to help eliminate a terrorist threat. And there is a familiar face in this season, Tobin Bell, who you might not be familiar with him, but if you are, he is Jigsaw from the Saw franchise, a Jigsaw killer. Jack Bauer, we see more characterization with his character, and it's another great season where it starts off slow, but then once it gets started, it never lets up. I'm not going to get too deep into season 3 because of the current and light of events that we are experiencing here in the country, but another story that's associated with this season is Jack Bauer is the head of CTU, and he is attempting to he is going through a very severe withdrawal after being in an undercover mission, and he is going through heroin withdrawals. I have a friend who, she hates the show for a matter, but I think this season is what made her hate the show, just because she felt that Jack Bauer going through heroin withdrawals while also attempting to deal with a terrorist threat was very unrealistic. And from every so often, whenever she posts a Facebook status, I tease her with a Jack Bauer meme or a GIF. I'm not sure. It's pronounced GIF or GIF, right? I'm not exactly sure. Feel free to correct me on that. But yeah, I always tease her with a scene from this season just because I know how much she hates it. But either way, it's a great season. It's exciting and fun, and it has a very emotional moment where you see Jack Bauer. Minor spoiler, you to see Jack Bauer at his lowest of low, and it's a very, very sad scene. Season 4 is when you see Jack Bauer once again called on to eliminate a terrorist threat, and he has a new love of his life in Audrey, who is she's he's attempted to find some sense of peace after experiencing a tragedy in season 1, and we are once again treated to more characterization of side characters, if you will, in Chloe O'Brien and Michelle Dessler. And one thing that I remember is when you see a familiar face return from the shadows, I jumped in excitement. It's such an iconic and triumphant moment that when you see him, it's bar none one of the most exciting moments of the series. Probably one of my favorite seasons, if I'm being completely honest. Very fun. You can't go wrong with this. Now, season 5 is when it gets absolutely phenomenal. I am not gonna get into any spoilers with this season just because every episode from beginning to end is just nonstop roller coaster ride, just exciting, filled with all kinds of different twists and awesome character development, twists, betrayals, revelations, action. It starts off with a bang and it never lets up. The stakes in this one are so astronomically high that you are just literally just emotionally and mentally engaged with this season. And it ends in spectacular fashion too, with a shocking twist. You almost, for me personally, you almost feel like you kind of wish they stopped here, but at the same time you want to see the storyline continue. 24. Whenever I binge watch 24, I always start with this season, and I'll binge watch this season from beginning to end. Absolutely phenomenal television here. A complete masterpiece. Season 6 is my least favorite of the 24 series. It starts off strong, then it just goes completely off the rails. I've only watched season 6 once, and if you're watching 24 for the first time, obviously you want to watch all the seasons just so you can become familiar with the characters and the storylines and their past and present motivations. But as far as whenever you become caught up completely, it's not necessary to watch this again. As I mentioned, I only watched it once, and it's decent, it's okay, but it's one of those where it just after the amazing nature of season 5, you feel like where else can you go? And this is where you go. It just, I don't really have too much to say about this one, honestly. Like I said, it starts off fairly strong, but it just goes off the rails. I don't know what it is, but after like 4 or 5 amazing seasons, that you just have that one season that's just complete mess. I don't know what it is, but yeah. See here. Now, what did I do with the other season that I had? Oh, here it is. 24 Redemption is the television film event that bridges the gap between season 6 and season 7. We see Jack Bauer in Africa living a life of exile and attempted to help underprivileged children at a school system, and he's receiving help from a friend of his in Africa, and unfortunately he is thrown into the war zone again by dealing with a terrorist threat in Africa who is indoctrinating kids into their own terrorist unit and having them infiltrate the American government system by planning and thwarting all kinds of violent acts. Jack Bauer is attempted to stop that threat while leading the kids to safety before they are slaughtered by a genocide. A great film. As I said, it bridges the gap between what's happening in season 6 and season 7. So after season 6, you watch this. This is where Jack Bauer is mentally, physically, and emotionally in his life. This was the first one I watched, and this is what got me into the show. Season 7, Jack Bauer is brought back to Washington, D.C. to appear before a trial in regards to his methods in terms of torture, and he is called on by the FBI to investigate a familiar face that has returned from the past to haunt him, and they are planning terrorist threats within the Washington, D.C., and we are introduced, in particular, with season 6, you were introduced to a new president of the United States, and you are seeing more character development with the president of the United States in this season, Jack Bauer, and other characters. I don't want to get into spoilers, but I will say season 7 is a return to form within the 24 fashion. Breakneck action, twists, revelations from beginning to end, excitement. It completely nullifies the bad taste that season 6 left in the mouths of fans and even casual viewers like myself at the time. I'm still a fan, at this time. But it just really made me feel, okay, wow, this is amazing. It's truly back to 24 fashion. An amazing season. Season 8 is, I know a lot of people might not necessarily care for season 8, but I happen to like it a lot. Jack Bauer is in retirement, attempted to go to Los Angeles with his daughter Kim and her daughter and her husband, and he is called on by a mysterious figure to help him attempt to escape the country. Unfortunately, things don't go as well as Jack Bauer wants, so he is thrust back into the CTU unit again. And a lot of people don't necessarily like the side stories that are confined within this season. It does start off slow. It starts off very, very slow. Once it gets to I want to say like the last 5 or 6 episodes of the season, that's when things really begin to take off, and we see Jack Bauer at his most ruthless, brutal, vicious, and violent. Towards the end of the season, that's when the show enters into a new stratosphere, and you see more character development, and you see more familiar faces. You see 2 familiar faces that return from Jack's past, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Great acting performance, especially towards the end. 24 Live Another Day is what happens after 24 season 8. Jack Bauer is living a life of exile in London, and he is called on by a friend. Well, obviously you know who the friend is. It's not so much of a spoiler because you see the cover here. But he's called on by Chloe O'Brien. Well, he saves Chloe O'Brien, and he's eliminating a terrorist threat that wants to assassinate the President of the United States and also committing drone attacks. And it's a 12-episode format, and that 12-episode format actually helps alleviate, it removes any and all filler episodes, and there's a time skip within the last episode that really helps propel the story forward. A great season. It's considered to be the end of 24. The end of 24 as far as Jack Bauer is concerned. Hopefully that's not the case, because even though this is a great season, 24 Legacy is one that I refuse to watch because it's not 24 without Kiefer Sutherland, and it's not 24 without Jack Bauer included. Either way, that is my review of 24. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Anyone who is familiar with the show, let me know what you thought about it. Anyone who's not familiar with the show, I do recommend it, with the exception of season 6. Once you watch season 6, you don't need to watch that again and continue moving forward. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about it. Provide a like, and let me know on my Facebook what you thought about it. Oh, and you will be hearing from me again, my friends. Take care, and peace out, and stay safe.